This is an article I wrote. It's about 8 pages, which I'm going to read right now. It's called the Christian Bible Confederation System for Targeted Individuals and Confederation Contactees. By Lucas Louise. That's my pen name. Okay. Introduction. The Confederation are the space contacts of George Adamski, Howard Menger, Daniel Fry, Buck Nelson, and the W-56. The Confederation are our friends, and they are here to help victims of the evil Amegans. The Confederation does not come from Venus or any other local planets. That was memory manipulation against Adamski and other contactees by the evil Amegans to discredit the Confederation message. That is from the spurious contacts files, the TerraKor files. Let's see if I can find it. Right here. Let's see. Well, it's one of these ones. There. Various contacts files. From Brother Bob's excellent TerraKor Alliance Terran Communication Center, the official Alliance website. Earth is in Confederation territory, hence their interest in us. The Confederation are physical people and not etheric. They never channel and they never give any Earth person any high-level intel because we are not members of their group. Regarding evidence of the Confederation ship footage from Adamski, the United Nations Audio and Visual Department Colonel Coleman Forkevesky, retired, believed the Madeline Rodafers footage was real. According to the UFO Secret, Alien Contacts, the Best Evidence documentary by Michael Hessman. The Alliance are the space contacts of Brother Bob Renaud, and they contact only him and no one else. They are also our friends, and they are here to remove the Amegans from the planet. Their goal is to eventually enlist Earth as a member of their alliance. Brother Bob hosts the excellent, highly recommended official Alliance website, TerraKor Files, Alliance Terran Communication Center. The Alliance are physical people and not etheric. They never channel. Their economic system is called Universal Economics and is very similar to Benjamin Tucker's American Mutualist Economics. The Confederation and Alliance often work together on projects outside of Earth, and the Galactic Tribunal is enthusiastically supportive of the Alliance presence here in removing the Amegan presence. That's from Brother R.K. Letters to Gabriel Green, 1989 to 1990, Question 5, Reason for Alliance Intervention, from the TerraKor Files site. The Amegans are the main evil ET group here on Earth. They are rebels from the Confederation who have authoritarian imperialist ambitions, and they want to overthrow and enslave the Confederation and Alliance. As stated on the overview of the Amegan situation on the TerraKor Files site. Their tactics are parasitic in that they infiltrate planets and try to manipulate the planetary civilizations to their benefit as their host. They engage in promoting immorality and constant warfare on society, as well as gang stalking and electronic harassment, in order to direct the planetary populace to their aims. They act covertly so as not to be found out by their host planets. The Confederation and Alliance will not come openly until Earth people are ready. The Amegans are supported by another group called the Syndicate. They are financing the Amegans, as stated on the overview of the Amegan situation from the TerraKor Files. There is a war between the good guys, the Confederation and Alliance, on one side, and the evil Amegans and Syndicate on the other. The Amegans also work with another authoritarian group with a large military known as the Calrans, as stated in the overview of the Amegan situation. The Confederation, the Alliance, and the Amegans all have a soul transfer machine as mentioned in Menger's book, Threads of Light to You. And it mentions it on the TerraKor site. The Alliance uses it. They use the soul transfer machine to transfer their soul into new bodies with their memory and personality intact. For instance, in my opinion, an operative to be born on Earth, the soul transfer machine is used to transfer the soul into the embryo at a certain stage of development in the mother's womb, and then they are born with their memory of their mission intact. The operatives also use the soul transfer machine at time of death. When the soul leaves the body, they transfer the soul into a new body back at their bases or ships. They also transfer their soul into different bodies suited for different planetary climates. The Confederation also uses the soul transfer machine to transfer the souls of people who are sincere in teaching the laws of Jesus and living by the laws of Jesus, and see the Confederation as friends. They transfer their souls to their bases, so they become members of their group. The conflict is happening on 23 planets, and one of them is Earth. The winner of the conflict will be awarded the galaxy. A. If you are a targeted individual or Confederation contactee, I recommend non-denominational Christian beliefs. Why non-denominational Christianity? In Howard Menger's book From Outer Space to You, an undercover Confederation operative told Menger that the evil ETs, probably Amegans, that CTR is a general term for all the evil ETs on Earth. The Amegans are a specific evil group. Amegans exist as an underground movement that have infiltrated government and religious groups, as stated from Outer Space to You, page 166 to 167. In my case, I believe there was a undercover CTR, probably a Megan, priest, and they were harassing me at the church after I wrote a letter to Brother Bob. After they harassed me, the Confederation undercover operatives were also there, and they later had the, I believe to be a Megan priest, transferred out of the church. I'm always grateful for the Confederation and the awesome stuff they do, so people like me can continue to serve God. In another case, a CTR pastor tried to set me up to discredit me. I'm not a Catholic, but a non-denominational Christian, because Catholics are required to have sins forgiven by a priest, which is in direct conflict with the Sermon on the Mount teachings. Non-denominational Christianity is helpful for targeted individuals and Confederation contactees because all they need to rely on is the Bible. They do not even need to go to church, just follow and live by the Bible. This way, the undercover Amegans or CTRs cannot harass targeted individuals or Confederation contactees in church, as church is not required. Just faith in God and living by the Bible is required. I recommend the New King James Bible, as it is more accurate than the newer translated Bibles available. I was thinking what might be best for targeted individuals and Confederation contactees, and as I was thinking these thoughts, my undercover Confederation friend physically said yeah, implying that my thoughts were correct. However, although they have registering disks to read and store thoughts, do not automatically assume they are reading your thoughts in real time, and don't be paranoid about it. This way your mind stays clear and you can think clearer. Undercover Amigan police also tried to set me up to discredit me at work. Eventually, the Confederation did something behind the scenes where the undercover CTRs and Amigans are forced to be nice to me. I don't know what the Confederation did, but I am eternally grateful for it. They truly are our friends. B. There are 5 ongoing Amigan or CTR disinfo operations being carried out currently. They are: number 1. Feeding disinformation to the Confederation contacts of Adamski, Menger, and Nelson come from the planet Venus or other local planets. There is no native life on the other local planets of our solar system, including no life on Venus or Saturn. Adamski and other contactees had their memories manipulated through imprinting technology by the Amigans in order to discredit their message. 2. Feeding disinformation that Jesus is man and not God. An undercover CTR, probably Amigan operative, also tried to convince me Jesus was just a man, and an undercover Confederation operative let them know to stop. These two so far are from the spurious contacts files from the TerraKor files website. 3. Feeding disinformation that there are other planes of existence and other junk science to discredit the contactees and make the subject appear as pseudoscience. It's from the spurious contacts files, TerraKor files. 4. Feeding disinformation that the CTRs are robots, as can be seen in Brescia's book Mass Contacts. It is likely imprinting on the W56 contactees. The undercover CTRs, I believe Amigans are, as the undercover Confederation operatives have stepped in against them, tried to make me believe they were robots, but I did not fall for it, so they gave up. Both the Confederation and the Alliance, and probably the Amigans, have autonomon, which are biological robot doubles for various missions. See Mass Contacts by Brescia and TerraKor Files official Alliance website. However, all groups have and use real non-robot operatives. 5. Several undercover Amigans tried to make me believe they are the military doing the electronic harassment and gang stalking. However, the Amigans have infiltrated the military to a high degree in order to try and shape our planet their way to attack Confederation worlds. The Amigans infiltrate the military, then do electronic harassment and gang stalking and blame it on the military as cover. C. 3 pillars of warfare. In warfare, there are generally 3 main tactics or pillars of warfare that can be generally found in the Book of Psalms. Since generally there are 3 main forms of tactics in warfare, the Amigans also resort to these tactics, or CTRs resort to these tactics. The 3 forms of tactics of warfare are: Pillar 1, discredit the enemy, Psalm 35:4 and Psalm 89:45. Pillar 2, trapping, put the enemy in a situation where they lead themselves into a counterproductive position, Psalm 7:14 through 16, Psalm 35:7. Pillar 3, overwhelm the enemy, Psalm 18:37 through 42, Psalm 35:25. These 3 pillars can be applied to physical warfare or psychological warfare or a combination of both. The 3 pillars are important to understand so you can counter the Amigan harassment or CTR harassment against you if you are harassed. Since the Amigans lack a military force, they mostly rely on psychological warfare. Pillars 1, discrediting, and Pillars 2, trapping, and Pillars 3, overwhelming. And in case of targeted individuals, they also have to deal, in Confederation Contactees, they also have to deal with gang stalking, voice-to-skull, neuro-linguistic programming, electronic harassment, etc., etc. D. The Amigans are imperialist rebels from the Confederation that infiltrate and take over planets in a manner similar to a parasite taking over a body and controlling its host. Since they lack a military force, they have to trick planetary inhabitants by staging an attack and blaming it on the Confederation. Therefore, eventually using the military of the planet they infiltrated to attack Confederation worlds. This is from an overview of the Amigan Amigan situation, Section 3, Internet Bulletin Messages, from the TerraKor Files site. The CTRs also carry out more focused psychological warfare programs against individuals, known as targeted individuals, and real Confederation contactees. As Brescia states, the CTRs, little by little, were seizing the opportunity, altering documents, changing memories, even wiping out somebody's memories, injecting wrong feelings as easy as if they were showing a movie. Our friends, the Confederation, had often stressed that against all that, the only possible defense should consist in a firm will. That's from Mass Contacts, page 223. E. How to counter the CTR Amigan 3-pillar harassment. Due to the presence of the Confederation and Alliance on Earth, the Amigans and other CTRs have to use mainly psychological warfare rather than physical warfare because they do not have a military to counter the Confederation and Alliance. Therefore, the Amigan and CTR 3 pillars of warfare are mainly psychological. Their program includes gang stalking, electronic harassment, and encouraging immorality in order to discredit the targets. To counter the 3 pillars of psychological warfare, here is what to do. Since they are weaker than the Confederation and Alliance here on Earth, they cannot physically force people to do what they want all the time. Therefore, they mostly have to operate on a level that is subtle enough that does not provoke the Confederation into action due to their non-interference directive. The Amigans and other CTRs are also afraid of being exposed to their host planet population, so they operate in ways that are deniable, through gang stalking and electronic harassment. Therefore, the Amigans and other CTRs focus on trying to make the person paranoid. That way they can control them in a subtle yet deniable way. A typical example would be that the Amigans or CTRs would do something strange with their undercover operatives to a target to make the targeted person paranoid, which is discrediting, which is Pillar 1. Then keep them paranoid through use of gang stalking and electronic harassment, which is trapping, Pillar 2. Then finally try to intimidate the target in deniable ways that keeps the target paranoid so they can be further manipulated in favor of the Amigans or other CTRs, overwhelming, which is Pillar 3. Here is a 2-step method on how to counter their system. 1. Don't be paranoid. By not being paranoid, you are taking away the power of the Amigans and CTRs that they try to have over you. By not being paranoid, you are exploiting their weakness. Their program is based on the fact that it operates with deniability with no concrete evidence. Precisely because there is no concrete evidence is the reason not to be paranoid. This way you are using their own logic against them. 2. Practice living by the Sermon on the Mount. This way the Amigans or CTRs try to harass you, they will look immoral and can be discredited further by the Confederation, and it will give the Confederation more justification to act against the Amigans or CTRs. While you are not being paranoid, at the same time the Amigans or CTR harassment cannot be ruled out. But with no concrete evidence, it is simply unknown. However, we can also use the Amigans or CTRs to our advantage. In Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5-7, Jesus states, "When you are persecuted, you are guaranteed heaven and extra perks in heaven." Matthew 5:10-11. In this case, Confederation rules can be heaven because the Bible states there are 3 heavens, and the second heaven is outer space. Matthew 24:29. So due to the possibility it could be Amigans or CTRs, they are guaranteeing we make it to Confederation worlds in our next life with our memories intact due to the possibility it could be them harassing. They don't have to actually harass you, simply the presence of them on Earth and the possibility of what you are going through could be them harassing you is good enough. If you are in a situation where you are possibly being harassed, you can further turn the situation against the Amigans or CTRs by forgiving the potential harassment, because when you forgive, you are less emotional, and therefore you're less likely to be manipulated by the Amigans or other CTRs. And your own sins are forgiven, as Jesus states through Matthew 6:14-15, therefore impressing the Confederation and God. And finally, pray for the Confederation and Alliance to be successful. Science has shown that prayer does have an effect. See the study, A Randomized Controlled Trial of the Effects of Remote Intercessory Prayer on Outcomes in Patients Admitted to the Coronary Care Unit, by Harris et al. Arch Intern Med, 1999. Therefore, simply due to their presence, even though there is no proof, but at the same time, it cannot be ruled out that the possibility could be the Amigans or other CTRs. Therefore you can use their own evil against them because their very presence in your life scientifically supports their enemies, who are the Confederation and Alliance, each time you pray. Which is part of James 5:13. Here is a breathing exercise. Breathe in and forgive any potential harassment. Breathe out and use your prayer intent to support the Confederation and Alliance. It really will have an impact, as the studies stated mentioned above. Breathe out any voice to skull or neuro-linguistic programming in order to continue to have a clear mind. The clear mind is your soul or mind energy. It gives your brain the energy to think physical thoughts, or for the body and energy to be used by the body in order to control the brain and the body. F. How do you contact the Confederation? The Confederation has registering discs to read thoughts. Mentioned Inside the Spaceships by Adamski, page 1924. Follow the laws of Jesus and teach them to others, and see the Confederation as friends. Pray to God that you wish to be friends with the Confederation undercover operatives. The Confederation and CTR and who are believed to be Amigan operatives are born here due to the use of the soul transfer machine, which I believe the soul is transferred into the embryo within the womb of the mother at a certain stage of development. If you pray to meet the Confederation undercover friends and teach and follow the laws of Jesus, as stated Inside the Spaceships, page 164, the registering discs orbiting the Earth will pick up your thought intentions, and they will either influence your subconscious from a distance with their technology, so you live more morally, or they may send an undercover Confederation operative to help out in your life, or they may do both. Their undercover Confederation operatives radiate powerful good energy, and their presence reminds the Amigans and other CTRs they are parasites rather than servants. The undercover operatives never channel and never give high-level intel to any Earth person because we are not members of their group. They are physical people and do only moral things. You will know who they are because of the powerful energy their body radiates. Be careful of undercover Amigans who pretend to be undercover Confederation operatives but do things subtly to annoy you, which then you attribute to the Confederation in order to cause problems. When we die, and if we lived according to Jesus' laws the best we can, and taught others the laws of Jesus and saw the Confederation as friends, the Confederation will use a soul transfer machine, as mentioned in Howard Menger's book, Threads of Light to You, page 81. When our soul leaves the body, and the soul transfer machine transfers our soul into a new Confederation body, and their bases on Earth, or in the ships, and we will have our personality and memory of our past life on Earth intact in the new body. Inside the Spaceships, Adamski, page 228. Never physically take up weapons and challenge the Amigans or other CTRs because you will be killed. The Confederation and Alliance have technological means to deal with the Amigans and other CTRs. We primitive Earth people do not. As stated in Mass Contacts by Brescia, and in the News, page 2, 2010, 613, Ashtar and Company on the TerraKor website. G. Practice listening to Howard Menger's Song of Saturn on my YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/libertad450. The song is designed to influence the brain to act in a more evolved moral manner. The Confederation do not come from Saturn or Venus. That was memory manipulation from the evil Amigans against Menger. If you want to know where they really come from, like the star system Altair, please see the excellent The Master List of Planets version 2.0 from the TerraKor files. H. The Matthew 23:23 system. In Matthew 23:23, Jesus says, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give a tenth of your spices, mint and dill and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former." The Confederation and the Alliance are two separate groups. The Confederation indirectly contacts anyone with their undercover operatives who is sincere in service to them and God. The Alliance contacts only Brother Bob and no one else. As stated in RK Questions and Answers, 2009-75 from the TerraKor files. I recommend Brother RK's writings, they're very good. It is my opinion the Confederation represents God's mercy, the Alliance represents God's justice, and the Earth people represent God's faithfulness through their belief in Jesus. The theory of Matthew 23:23 system, the Confederation represents God's mercy, while the Alliance represents God's justice. Earth people represent God's faith. The Confederation represent God's mercy through helping victims of Amigans and other CTRs and using the soul transfer machine to have people make it into their worlds in the next life, with their memory intact. They also support the teachings of Jesus. An undercover Confederation friend recommended the show The Chosen. The Chosen, so far since January 2022, has had over 300 million views, according to the Washington Examiner. In an article titled "Why is The Chosen, a Show About Jesus, So Popular?" by Rusty Wright, January 11, 2022. The Confederation also has undercover operatives acting as good moral examples in society for people to follow, as stated in Adamski's Flying Saucers Farewell. A support channel for the Confederation is my YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Libertad450. The Alliance are acting underground to remove the Amigan presence on Earth. Is information from RK Questions and Answers, 2009-7-5. A summary of their activities can be found at the TerraKor Files official Alliance website, hosted by Brother Bob Renaud. Permission granted by Brother Bob to post links to his site on 4/2018 through the now closed Guestbook. Their activities can be seen by people aware of their presence by watching the global news of the day, as well as information on their website. Information on that can be found in an overview of the Amigan situation, message date 2/25/1986, from the TerraKor Files. The Alliance influenced actions that we can see in the news media are news that talks about promoting morality and freedom, and also pointing out the evils of corruption and immorality, which can be found in Toward Your Tomorrows, the 25th of October 1988, from the TerraKor Files, and The Chinese Dilemma, 6th of July 1989, from the TerraKor Files. The Earth people are God's faith, so Earth people are to follow and live by the Christian Bible, especially by living according to the Sermon on the Mount. Within this Matthew 23:23 system, the more the Confederation or Alliance are successful, or the more the Earth people practice morals, everyone indirectly benefits from this system, and therefore every success is mutually beneficial. Okay, I hope you found that article interesting. I will also have a link under the video, and we'll post it, so you can read it instead if you like. Okay, thank you, and have a good day.